Thank you for attending my presentation about what your favorite team says about your personality. Barcelona, the DNA enthusiast. If you are a Barcelona fan, your entire personality is built on a philosophy that you probably can't explain but will defend with your life. You don't just watch football, you're looking for the DNA, which is a fancy way of saying you get physically ill if your team has less than 70% possession. You spend your weekends watching 2011 YouTube compilations of Xavi and Iniesta, while crying into a jersey that the club probably can't afford to manufacture anymore. Your search history is a chaotic mix of financial levers explained and La Magia 12-year-old highlights. You are convinced that every teenager who can complete a 5-yard pass is the reincarnation of Lionel Messi. When you lose, it's never because the other team was better, it's because they didn't want to play football and park the bus against your superior aesthetic. In a group chat, you are the person who uses words like Cruyffism to justify a 0-0 draw against a team from the bottom of the table. You have a deep-seated victim complex regarding referees, yet you're also the first to boast about being Mace un club. Your personality is essentially a high-end art critic who is currently living in a house with no furniture because you spent the rent money on a vintage Ronaldinho shirt. Let's be honest, you haven't had a good night's sleep since that night at Anfield or the 8-2 in Lisbon. You're just waiting for a 16-year-old with a bowl cut to save your entire existence. If someone mentions the word lever to you in a grocery store, you probably have a panic attack. Chelsea, the chaos merchants. Being a Chelsea fan isn't a hobby, it's a full-time job in crisis management. Your personality is I thrive in toxic environments. You are the human equivalent of a fire drill. You don't want a project, you want a trophy by next Tuesday, or you want the manager fired before the post-match press conference is even over. You have zero patience and even less interest in long-term planning. Your favorite pastime is refreshing Twitter to see which £100 million player your club has signed on an 8-year contract today. You probably don't even know who they are, but you'll claim they're world-class until they fail to score for 3 months, at which point you'll demand they be sold to a mid-table Italian club. You live for the instant result lifestyle, like someone who buys a pre-cooked meal and complains it took 3 minutes to microwave. You are the most defensive person in any room. If someone mentions London's only Champions League winners, you'll say it 3 times fast like a magic spell to ward off Arsenal fans. You change your opinion on players faster than the club changes its tracksuit sponsors. You're basically a stock market day trader, but instead of money, you trade in vibes and inshallah football. At this point, your heart is made of ice and Todd Bowley's signatures. You don't care about history or tradition, you care about the dopamine hit of a new signing and the sheer, unadulterated chaos of a 4-4 draw where your center-back gets a red card for no reason. You are the I can fix him person of the football world. Bayern Munich, the corporate overlords. If you support Bayern Munich, you have the personality of a very efficient, very arrogant German car. You do hope to win, you expect it as a basic human right. You are the person who wins a friendly game of Monopoly and then explains to everyone else why their financial strategy was fundamentally flawed. You don't have rivals, you have business competitors who you eventually buy out. Your favorite activity is league farming. You spend your summer looking at the best player on the team that finished second and thinking, he'd look great on our bench. You don't see this as unfair, you see it as maintaining the natural order. You are the ultimate gatekeeper, and your personality is built on the foundation of being consistently, annoyingly better than everyone else in your immediate vicinity. You are incredibly organized and probably have a spreadsheet for your grocery shopping. When Bayern loses a game once every 6 months, you act like the world is ending and demand a public apology from the German government. You have no sympathy for the underdog because, in your mind, the underdog is just a team that hasn't realized it's destined to lose 5-0 at the Allianz Arena yet. People find you intimidating because you never seem to panic. While other fans are biting their nails, you're checking your watch and waiting for the 85th minute goal that inevitably comes. You're not here for the magic of the cup, you're here for the trophies, the efficiency, and the crushing weight of your own superiority. AC Milan, the heritage hipsters. If you're an AC Milan fan, you're basically living in a black and white film from 1994. Your personality is old money, but I'm currently between jobs. You spend your time talking about the wall of Maldini and Bercy like you were actually there, even if you were born in 2005. You have a deep spiritual connection to the color red and black, and you believe that class is more important than form. You are a football hipster who thinks modern tactics are too robotic. You want flair, you want drama, and you want a 38-year-old striker who still looks like a movie star. Your personality is built on vibes and heritage. You'll lose 3-0 to a team from the bottom of Serie A and then remind everyone that you have 7 Champions League trophies. It's your only defense mechanism and you use it like a shield. In a group of friends, you're the one who still wears a leather jacket in the middle of summer because it's a look. You are incredibly nostalgic and probably still have a poster of Cock in your bedroom. You view the banter era of the mid-2010s as a dark period of your soul that you are still recovering from. Every win feels like a restoration of the monarchy, and every loss feels like a personal insult to San Siro. You are refined, you are slightly dramatic, and you are definitely convinced that Italian football is the only real football. You don't care about expected goals, you care about expected elegance. If a player isn't wearing their socks at the right height, you probably don't think they're good enough for the shirt. Paris Saint-Germain, the luxury brand. Supporting PSG tells the world that you don't really like football, you like celebrities, your personality is influencer. You're more interested in the new Jordan collaboration kit than the actual tactics being used on the pitch. You view the Champions League as a VIP party that you keep getting kicked out of by the bouncers, even though you're wearing the most expensive shoes in the room. You are the person who thinks that if you have enough money you can solve any problem. Oh, we lost. Let's just buy the captain of the team that beat us. You live for the drama of the transfer window, and you probably spend more time on Instagram than watching the actual 90 minutes. You are a fan of the project, which is essentially just a very expensive collection of stickers that don't quite fit on the page. Your personality is a mix of extreme wealth and extreme insecurity. You know everyone hates you and you pretend to love it, but deep down you just want someone to admit that your stadium has a cool vibe. You are the ultimate fair-weather fan, but for you, the weather is always sunny because you're in a private box. You celebrate league titles like they're hard-earned victories, even though your team's budget is larger than the GDP of a small nation. You are the person who brings a Louis Vuitton bag to a hiking trip. You don't want a team, you want a Galactico lineup that looks good on a TikTok edit with bass-boosted music. Manchester United, the glory days addict. If you are a Manchester United fan, you are stuck in a 1999 time loop. Your personality is I used to be famous. You spend your life waiting for the return to greatness, which you are convinced is just one signing away, even though you've said that every year since 2013. You talk about Sir Alex Ferguson like he's a religious deity who might one day descend from the director's box to save you. Your personality is 50% GGMU Twitter and 50% pure unadulterated pain. You are incredibly entitled because you grew up watching your team win everything, and now that they don't, you don't know how to act. You're the person who brings up your high school grades when you're failing in college. Yeah, I got an F on this test, but did you see my GPA in 2008? Exactly. You have a love-hate relationship with every single player on the squad. One week they're the next George Best, and the next week you're demanding they be sent to the reserves for missing a header. You are the king of the meltdown. Your YouTube history is just videos of pundits screaming about the Standard and the United Way, whatever that actually means. You are convinced that there is a global conspiracy against your club, yet you also hate your own owners more than anything in the world. You're basically a fallen aristocrat living in a crumbling mansion, still insisting that the butler polishes the silver even though there's no food on the table. You live for the theater of dreams, but lately it's been more of a theater of memes. Manchester City, the spreadsheet specialist. Supporting Manchester City means your personality is, I love a well-organized filing system. You don't care about history because you're too busy looking at the future. You are the person who brings a laptop to a bar to show everyone the 115 reasons why your team is innocent, or just to show them a heat map of Rodri's passing. You find joy in technical perfection, like someone who gets excited about a perfectly calibrated thermostat. You are often accused of being a plastic, which you combat by bringing up the time you saw City play in the 3rd Division in 1998, even if you weren't alive then. Your personality is success is a science. You don't want flair or chaos, you want 90 minutes of your team keeping the ball so effectively that the opponent's fans start falling asleep. You view football as a game of chess played by a supercomputer named Pep. You are incredibly smug. Why wouldn't you be? You win everything. But you're also weirdly obsessed with what people think of you. You want everyone to admit that your football is the best, and when they don't, you start talking about net spend and revenue streams. You're the guy at the party who explains how the tax system works while everyone else is trying to have fun. Your idea of a legend is a player who never makes a mistake and always follows instructions. You have no room for mercurial talents who don't track back. You are a fan of a machine and you are the chief maintenance officer. You don't just want to win, you want to win with 1,000 passes and 0 shots conceded. Real Madrid, the God complex. If you support Real Madrid, your personality is simply I am better than you. You don't just have confidence, you have a God complex that would make a Roman emperor blush. You don't care about tactics or systems, you believe in the power of friendship and the fact that the Champions League trophy is legally your property. You could be 3-0 down in the 89th minute and you'd still be checking your watch, wondering when the inevitable comeback will start. You are the most entitled person in the world. You don't support players, you permit them to wear your shirt. If a world-class player doesn't score a hat trick on his debut, you're ready to whistle him off the pitch. You expect the best, you demand the best, and you usually get the best because you're Real Madrid. You are the main character of football and everyone else is just an extra in your movie. Your personality is black tie event. You view every other club as a feeder club or a temporary obstacle. You don't feel lucky when you win, you feel like the universe has finally returned to its natural state. You probably own several white shirts that stay perfectly clean even when you're eating spaghetti. You are refined, arrogant, and incredibly successful, which makes you the most hated person in any football discussion. You have no sympathy for struggling clubs. To you, suffering is only drawing a game at home. You live for the remontada, but only because it makes the victory look more cinematic. You don't watch football for the sport, you watch it for the coronation. Your blood type isn't O positive, it's Champions League gold. Liverpool, the emotional roller coaster. Being a Liverpool fan means your personality is 90% heavy metal and 10% Scouse pride. You are the most emotional person in the room. You don't just like your team, you are in a deep, spiritual, borderline obsessive relationship with them. You talk about the power of Anfield like it's a physical force of nature that can pull the ball into the net through sheer willpower. You are the king of this means more. You are convinced that your club has a soul that other clubs lack and you will tell anyone who listens and many who won't. You live for the high press, the drama, and the mentality monsters. Your personality is I wear my heart on my sleeve and my scarf in the air. You are incredibly loyal, but you're also the first to start a next year is our year chant in October. You are the person who brings a guitar to a campfire and forces everyone to sing songs about a left back. You have a deep sense of community and a deep sense of injustice. You remember every bad refereeing decision since 1974 and you're ready to litigate them at any moment. You are loud, you are passionate. And you are definitely going to mention the 2005 Istanbul final at least twice during this presentation. To you, football is a religion and Jurgen Klopp is the prophet. You don't want clinical wins, you want 4-3 thrillers that give you heart palpitations. You are the main character of a tragicomedy that occasionally turns into an epic masterpiece. You are intensely proud, fiercely defensive, and you definitely think you're the best fans in the world. Juventus, the old lady traditionalist. If you support Juventus, your personality is tactical pragmatism. You don't care about beautiful football, you care about a 1-0 win where your goalkeeper doesn't have to dive once. You are the person who thinks a perfectly executed offside trap is more exciting than a bicycle kick. You are disciplined, slightly mysterious, and you probably have a very expensive watch that you only wear on Sundays. Your personality is the establishment. You are the old lady, which means you have a certain level of dignity, but you're also not afraid to get your hands dirty to stay at the top. You've been through the scandals, the relegations, and the rebuilds, and you've come out of it with a winning isn't important, it's the only thing that matters attitude. You are the ultimate pragmatist. You are the person who always reads the terms and conditions before signing anything. You are calculated and cold. While other fans are cheering for flair, you're nodding approvingly at a defensive substitution in the 60th minute. You view football as a game of territory and attrition. You don't want to outplay the opponent, you want to outlast them until they make a mistake. You are very defensive about your club's reputation. If someone mentions the word trial or points deduction, you immediately start talking about your 30-something Scudettos. You are a fan of the grind. Your ideal evening is a glass of red wine and a 90-minute masterclass in how to waste time near the corner flag. Arsenal, the process trusters. If you are an Arsenal fan, your personality is eternal optimism masked by deep-seated trauma. You spend your life trusting the process, which is a phrase you've used so much it's basically your middle name. You are a connoisseur of beautiful football, and you'd rather lose 4-3 playing the right way than win 1-0 playing ugly. At least, that's what you tell yourself to cope with the lack of trophies for 2 decades. Your personality is built on the year 2004. The Invincibles are your Roman Empire. You think about them every single day. You are the person who brings up the golden trophy in an argument about who is the best team in London, even though the players who won it are now grandfathers. You are incredibly sensitive to criticism and will write a 15-tweet thread explaining why your 22-year-old winger is actually better than prime Neymar. You are the art collector of football. You want everything to be aesthetic, young, and vibrant. You are obsessed with potential. You could be in the middle of a title race and you'd still be scouting 17-year-olds from the French second division. Your personality is I'm a bit of a nerd, but I'm cool now because we're winning again. You are the ultimate comeback story, and you want everyone to acknowledge how much you've suffered. You have a very specific type of arrogance, The "we play football the right way" arrogance. You view yourself as the guardians of the game's beauty. You are loud on social media, you are obsessed with aura, and you definitely have a North London Forever tattoo that you got when you were top of the league in December. Conclusion. In conclusion, your favorite football team isn't just a choice, it's a psychological diagnosis. Whether you're a DNA-obsessed Barca fan, a chaos merchant from Chelsea, or a Real Madrid fan who thinks they're literally royalty, we all have one thing in common: we are all completely, hopelessly delusional. If you didn't see your team here, don't worry, it just means you're probably a fan of a neutral club, which means your personality is, I just want everyone to have a good time and I hope both teams lose. Or you're a fan of a smaller club, which means your personality is pure masochism. Either way, we're all in this together, trapped in a cycle of hope and heartbreak that we wouldn't trade for anything. So the next time someone tells you they support Manchester City, just remember, they're probably just really into spreadsheets. If they support Liverpool, bring them a tissue. And if they support Manchester United, just give them a hug. They've been through a lot, even if it's mostly their own fault. Football is the only place where history, money, and DNA can be used as insults and compliments at the same time. Thank you for coming to my presentation. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go refresh my transfer news and convince myself that my team's new 18-year-old signing is definitely going to win the Ballon d'Or next year. Remember, it's not just a game, it's a personality trait. See you in the group chat.